Today in Nerd History!
In a series as truly epic as One Piece, it can be hard to pick favorite scenes. There are hundreds of episodes jam-packed with action, humor, and adventure, but sometimes scenes that leave the biggest impressions are the ones that break your heart. So strap on your straw hats because it's time for the 5 most heartbreaking scenes in One Piece. Number 5, Luffy loses his brother right after rescuing him. Few relationships in One Piece hit harder than that of Luffy and his adopted brother, Port Ghasti Ace. From the pair growing up together in Fuchsia Village, where they dreamed of one day being pirates, to meeting up years later during the Alabasta arc. But those good times, they couldn't last forever. And when they end, oh, they end hard. After Ace is defeated and captured by his renegade former crewmate, Marshal D. Teach, he's scheduled to be handed over to the Marines for a public execution at Marineford. Luffy, of course, is having none of this and hatches a plan to rescue Ace before his execution. With the help of Shishibukai Boa Hancock, Luffy is able to break into Impel Down and fight his way toward his brother, enduring defeat and even a poisoning at the hand of the Warden Magellan. After all of this though, when he finally makes it to Ace's cell, Luffy discovers that Ace has already been moved to Marineford for his execution. Nothing will keep Luffy from rescuing his brother, however. Enlisting the help of fellow prisoners, both former enemies as well as new friends, Luffy breaks out of Impel Down. It's about this time that we discover the true reason for the Marines wishing to execute Ace. He is the son of Gold D. Roger, the Pirate King himself, and the Marines think that eliminating all traces of his lineage will help to break the spirit of pirates worldwide. Unlucky for the Marines, Whitebeard and his crew make it to Marineford and an all-out brawl breaks out in the effort to rescue Ace. Amidst the fracas, Ace and Luffy do battle with the Marine Admiral Akainu, and things don't go their way, to say the least. Just as Akainu is about to deal a death blow to Luffy, Ace jumps in the way of the attack to block it, saving his life. Dying in his brother's arms, Ace thanks Luffy, Whitebeard, and the crewmates for giving him a reason to live. After all this time trying to save Ace, it's actually Ace who saves Luffy. Ace's death permanently changes Luffy, as one would expect, and it breaks his will. But as time goes on, Luffy uses this heartbreak as motivation to train to be stronger than ever before. He even creates a new attack, Red Hawk, as a tribute to Ace. In this way, the brothers are united forever. Number 4, Sanji is rejected by his family because of his kindness and humanity. Sanji's warmth, kindness, and humility are some of his greatest traits that make him such a favorite among fans, not to mention his awesome cooking skills. It's hard to believe that there's anyone who wouldn't like the guy, much less members of his own family. But Sanji doesn't have just any family, he's part of a royal lineage, the Vinsmoke. And the family Vinsmoke is probably best known for their father Judge scientifically enhancing his children to be superhuman at birth and then rigorously training them from a young age. You know, normal family stuff. But in the most extreme version of the familiar disappointed father story, Judge is extremely upset to discover that after all of his effort and experimentation, his son Sanji is still just human. In a family where humanity is seen as weakness, nothing could be worse for Sanji. His own father hates him, his brothers mock him, and he's viciously attacked because he's a disgrace to the family. Luckily for Sanji, his sister Reiju retains some humanity herself and shows him compassion. She helped him with his wounds, but she couldn't help him with what would come next. Judge becoming so disgusted, embarrassed even, by his son, that he decided he would erase Sanji from existence. Going full man in the iron mask on the boy, Judge locks Sanji away in the basement cell with a metal mask affixed over his face, and then holds a public funeral. For months, Sanji endures the beatings of his brothers, while the rest of the world doesn't even know that he exists. During an attack on the East Blue, Sanji finally has distraction enough to make his escape. With the help of his kind sister, he's able to flee his cage, only to be confronted by his father. What follows is possibly the only amount of compassion that Judge is able to show, allowing Sanji to leave because he can't muster the strength to kill his own son. Sanji, the fun cook that we all know and love, is given a completely new context by this completely heartbreaking backstory. Number 3, Brook watches his crewmates die one by one and leaves behind his best friend. Half a century before Brook even met the Straw Hat crew, he was a member of the carefree, music-loving Rumbar Pirates. This gang of jolly pirates made friends with a whale named Laboon, who loved the music the crew would play for him. Brook and Laboon became fast friends. But if you can make any guesses from how the last 2 entries have gone, things, got sad. Don't worry, Laboon didn't die. Something actually kind of worse happened. Fearing for his safety while entering the Grand Line, Brook had to leave Laboon behind. Brooke asked his blubbery bestie to wait for him until the Rumbar pirates returned, but the Rumbar pirates wouldn't return, at least not in the way that you'd hope. Upon entering the Florian Triangle, the Rumbar pirates were attacked by enemy pirates who had slathered their weapons with poison. After the battle, those who survived were still doomed because of this. Brooke had eaten the devil fruit Yomi Yomi Nomi, which would allow him to return from death, but the others were not so lucky. The crew gathered to play music together one last time, recording it to a shell Brooke would eventually be able to return to Laboon. And the crewmates died one by one before Brooke's eyes. The devil fruit saved Brooke's life, but without his crewmates, he was left adrift in the Florian Triangle, where the pirate Gecko Moria would eventually find and steal his shadow, leaving him more alone than he ever would imagine he could be. After decades of waiting around on the very same boat his friends had perished on, Brooke eventually met Luffy and the Straw Hat crew. He even reclaimed his shadow from Gecko Moria, but he's left with one final solemn duty: to eventually return to Laboon, long since abandoned, with the recording of his long-dead crewmates. Number 2, Law loses everything that he loves. If that wasn't enough loss for you, well, yikes for one, but for two, get ready. Trafalgar Law's story is even harsher. Law was born in Flavance, a country that was known for its rich resources of a white ore called amber lead. Law was a student of medicine, much like his doctor parents, but the entire economy of Flavance depended on the mining of amber lead. Unfortunately, the same resource that made the nation rich and prosperous was slowly killing them. Even Law contracts this poisonous disease from the amber lead as a child, and isn't expected to live into his adult years. His sister has it worse, contracting an advanced form of the disease that begins killing her much quicker. Although the government and the royal family know that this is going on, they keep it secret from the public. In fact, the only people who decide to do something about this epidemic are the folks in the neighboring island. And they aren't looking to help, no. They establish a blockade around Flavance to quarantine them. With the disease reaching epidemic levels, the people of Flavance become desperate and begin to craft weapons to make their escape. Soon, full-scale war erupts, with the people of the neighboring land attacking those in Flavance. Law's parents, his teacher, his classmates are all killed in this attack. Even his poor sister, who is already dying, is consumed alive by fire when her hospital burns down. Miraculously, Law manages to escape after meeting the pirate Doflamingo, but he doesn't make it out unscathed. He suffers a complete breakdown because of this, which is understandable, Law, buddy, I get it. Somehow, this still isn't enough tragedy for the guy, though. There's one final twist to the knife. Doflamingo's brother Corazon becomes fast friends with Law, and they develop quite a bond, to the point even that Corazon steals the devil fruit from Doflamingo in order to cure Law of his disease. Naturally, Doflamingo isn't very happy about this, and he slays Corazon in front of Law's eyes. Just when Law has lost everything, his family, his friends, his entire home country, he loses the only remaining thing that means anything to him. Yeah, can you believe that we still have one more entry to go? Because I can't. Here we go. Number 1, the Straw Hats say goodbye to their first ship. The Straw Hat crew's first ship, the Going Merry, was a character unto itself, figuratively and literally. Originally a gift from Mary of Syrup Village, the Going Merry saw the crew through their adventure on the Grand Line, keeping them safe and steady through encounters with monsters, pirate attacks, and much more. Hell, they even made the ship fly to Sky Island during the Skypiea arc. But every ride eventually comes to an end, and the send-off for the Going Merry was as emotional as you might hope. After reaching Water 7, the crew is informed by shipwrights that the Going Merry has seen too much action and is simply beyond repair. This is especially hard for Luffy. The Merry had been a comrade through thick and thin. Leaving her would almost be a betrayal to the guy. But he has to think of his crew first, and he decides that this is in the best interest of everyone, that their days aboard the Merry have come to an end. Usopp, however, is not ready to let go. After all, Usopp is from Syrup Village, just like Merry. This disagreement between Luffy and Usopp leads to a fight, and Luffy wins. But knowing how much the ship means to Usopp, Luffy hands over the ship to Usopp as they part ways. Of course, this isn't a fitting end without one final grand adventure. Sometime after these events, the Straw Hat crew find themselves in a rescue mission at the government stronghold Ines Lobby. When their escape plan is crashing all around them, they have an unexpected visit from an old friend. The Going Merry comes to their rescue, successfully getting them to safety. However, the damages sustained in this daring operation mean that the ship is at its end. Giving her the soulful send-off that she deserves, the crew set the Going Merry ablaze in a Viking funeral. Although Merry wishes she could have taken the crew further along the way, she's happy for the time that they had together. Although they no longer sail upon the Mary, the ship had become an inexorable part of these characters, and an icon of what joined them together in the first place. Thanks to our friends at Crunchyroll for making this video possible. If you want to check out any of these episodes from One Piece or the many others, you can catch them all on Crunchyroll. If you never watched, you can start from the beginning, or if you have watched and you want to revisit your favorite arcs like Water 7 and Summit War, you can do that right now. For a 30-day free trial, check out the link below or head over to crunchyroll.com/dorkly to embark on your very own One Piece binge. It's a